Hola, ¿qué tal? I am alive. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Meg James. I don't know what episode it is because it's been a hot minute, and I'm just happy to report and share I am live here from our rental home in the Costa del Sol. So let's catch you up. There's been a lot of change for our family, our American family that calls Spain home. We have moved from Madrid after 2 awesome years in Madrid, and we now call the Costa del Sol home. Now, we are here with a longer term living plan in mind. We just got approved for 3-year digital nomad visa. So shout out to American Legal Spain, our lawyer here, for getting our 3-year visas, making it 5 years we'll live in Spain, approved in 23 days. Incredible. So many new updates, but let's hop into life in the Costa del Sol the last few weeks, areas we don't like and areas that we absolutely love so far, and why we're considering leaving the area we're in right now. Let's go. So there is just so much to catch up on. Let's get started first with the visa. So pros and cons of the last few months since you've heard from me have been the visa renewal process. Thank the Lord, it has been so easy to get a 3-year digital nomad visa. My husband, who, going back in case you're new here, did not have any remote work opportunity. We do not have a company or the government or military, anything that sent us to Spain. So we needed to come up with a way on our own to be able to continue to live in Spain. We decided the digital nomad visa was best. My husband became a consultant for a London company, which I've shared before over the last 1.5 years of our 2 years in Madrid, and that contract ended in June. He since has been able to, through contacts and just networking, start a second contract, a US-based contract, and that enabled us to be eligible for the digital nomad visa. And so shout out to American Legal Spain. I recommend if anybody is considering a move to Spain, short-term, long-term, with kids, without kids, American Legal Spain is the first person you should contact. They are so knowledgeable and they get the job done. So now we are longer residents of Spain and we're so excited about that. Now you're noticing a background change and everything is very new. We are in the Costa del Sol. So where exactly are we? We moved to the southern area of Spain. Our closest big city is Estepona. And technically the city we live in, although we're outside of the actual city center area, is Estepona, Spain. We fell in love with Estepona when we were visiting the Costa del Sol, which the Costa del Sol, that term refers to 108 towns, villages, pueblos, cities, going all the way up from Nerja and east of Malaga, and then west all the way down to like Manilva. So that's even west of Estepona. And they're beautiful, so many cool areas. Some of the ones we visited are like Mijas Pueblo near Fuengirola, up closer to Malaga. Malaga City, we have so much more to explore. But we ended up in Estepona because we fell in love with the city. It's just a gorgeous, great change from Madrid, where we still love Madrid as a city and its beauty, but now we get the beach and the city, and it just feels so Spanish and quaint. So we love Estepona. I want to talk today, and today's topic is going to mainly be, now that we're settling into the Costa del Sol, we are here in El Paraíso, that is a town of, or an area of Estepona, and we're getting to know the different areas, considering what areas we'd want to live in longer term. So I'm going to be very honest, and from my perspective, share the different towns or cities that we have visited over the last few weeks of living here in the Costa del Sol. And if you're considering a move to the Costa del Sol, hopefully this video will help you in determining areas and the pros and cons. Now, we are here in July, end of July, and July and August are the worst times, both for prices and traffic, to move to the Costa del Sol. We did anyway because we decided let's just get settled in the area we're going to go to school. We chose a school here in Estepona, and why not just get to know the area? Now that came with a higher price tag than we normally would have wanted to pay, but we are settled in El Paraíso for at least 6 months in a short-term rental here in a beautiful casita in El Paraíso, but we do not want to consider El Paraíso long-term. Here's why. After spending the last few weeks here, there are certain cities and areas that we would say, no way, Jose, would we live in. The first is Marbella. Marbella is very famous and known for its lush kind of stores and beautiful beaches, not necessarily the beaches, like the sand beaches, but like the beautiful landscapes, say, of the shops, and it's very polished, very manicured area of Spain. What we don't like about Marbella is that we can go and not hear one Spanish speaker. It literally, especially in high season, but I believe in general, kind of just feels like a taking over of the nations, and it does not feel Spanish to us. And if you're new to my channel, one of our family's goals is full immersion. So Landon, our 13-year-old, he's actually gone on a church camp here. He's already met friends and is in a Spanish-speaking church camp. He is all in on Spanish immersion. So he speaks full Spanish and just loves the Spanish culture. Our youngest son plays on the local CD Cancelada football team. He's also immersed in Spanish, and my husband and I are constantly learning, practicing, go to CrossFit in Spanish, go to church in Spanish, and we want to be surrounded by Spanish because we are learning Spanish in Spain. And so that's one of the reasons that our family would not consider living in Marbella. 2, we would not consider living long-term in El Paraíso. Yes, that's where we live right now. Thankfully, we're in a very safe, great area, and this area in general is very safe still. But El Paraíso feels a little bit like a mini Marbella, where all of our neighbors, and maybe they're just even here seasonally, like they have vacation homes for the summer, they are not Spanish. And so the dream was kind of to live in a casita or live in a flat with an herba that you would have Spanish kids interacting with our kids after dinner or in the afternoons, and that's not the case here. There's not a lot of kids. It feels like a retiree kind of village with people that come here from Norway or Finland or Sweden or Russia or wherever to vacation, and then they go home. And so it's great for us in the short term while we get to know the area, but long term we would not live in El Paraíso just due to the lack of Spanish culture here as well. Let's talk about a third area that I do not think we would live in, and that is Manilva. So we actually love Playa Chuyera, which is a beach, a rocky beach in west of Estepona in the small town of Manilva, and it's a beautiful town and area. It feels too far from Estepona and the things that we like about the Costa del Sol, and so it's just too much driving, and it wouldn't be what we would choose. One of the negatives about the Costa del Sol in general, especially compared to Madrid, is that it's not very navigable without, with public transportation. Like they do have a bus system, but for the most part, you're really relying on your car. And so we're trying to position ourselves to live somewhere that becomes more walkable, that we don't have to navigate like constantly driving. We dream longer term of living here to walk to a little supermarket tienda, a supermercado, to pick up flour that we forgot. Or we dream of walking or scootering to CrossFit, to our kids' football game matches, to the dentist, to the eye doctor. Very similar life to Valdebebas in Madrid. And so what area are we choosing? Drum roll. What areas would I consider living in the Costa del Sol? After having been here for the last few weeks and navigating our day-to-day, there's really only 2 areas that I would consider actually living in with my family in the Costa del Sol. Now, I want to go back a second and say we're not looking at Malaga. So I'm not speaking about Nerja, Malaga, Fuengirola, Mijas, any of those towns, because those are east of where we are. We looked at a school there because I wanted to be closer to that airport, but we're not there. We're in Estepona. Our school is in Estepona, far west, closer to Cadiz than it is Malaga, the Cadiz border. And so where would I live knowing my school is in Estepona for our kids? And there are 2 options. One, longer term, and I'll get to the real winner last. The first one, the runner-up, is Estepona Centro. So we love the center of Estepona. It's so full of life, so Spanish feeling, very authentic, great restaurants, just buzzing with shops and noise. And we just love anytime we're down there. And so I could see us, maybe not right away just because of just having done the city experience in Madrid, but I think I could see us living in actual Estepona because it's just so beautiful. And I think it has the best combination of the city and the beach. But where are we mostly considering living? So again, we're here in El Paraíso until what I believe is the beginning of January at the earliest to relocate, but we are officially, and we thought we would be, looking at Cancelada. We're choosing Cancelada because compared to the other areas, it feels really authentically Spanish. Like a lot of the families that live there are Spanish, Colombian, Venezuelan, Spanish speaking. They have lived there since the 1930s. Their families have lived there forever. And it just has these roots of really Spanish feeling, even in the high season of July and August. And we really like that. It has a lot of walkability for the Costa del Sol. And so our barber, my nail salon, our vet, our eye doctor, our dentist, a wine shop, you know, like all these things that maybe day to day you might run an errand in. Our CrossFit gym, my son's football team, they are all walkable if you live in Cancelada. And Cancelada has an old area and a new area. The old area is very old school Spain, and my kids love that and we love that. And then there's a Nueva area, kind of like Valdebebas, that has some new construction that you could live in, but then be a 4-minute scooter ride into the older part of Cancelada. And so, although we just moved, I feel like in true digital nomad fashion, when you move to a new area especially, you have to spend time getting in a temporary rental, which has always been one of my main recommendations, and really see if you love the area. Like, I'm so glad we didn't sign a 3 or 4 year lease in El Paraíso, because the area is beautiful and I think it's great for vacationers, but we live here now. And so we wouldn't want to live, despite really liking the casita we're in, we wouldn't want to live here long term because we'd always be in our car. And so now that we have done this, what will be 6-month trial of this area, we'll hopefully be lining up for ourselves over Christmas break or just after to be able to move into Cancelada into something that is not high season pricing. And it gave us time to build relationships and see where we actually spend time day to day. And so we are going to be now sharing a lot more information about moves and what that was like for Madrid, Costa del Sol. A lot has happened besides getting our visas renewed, which I'll talk more about. We also have been able to buy a car here. I'm going to be navigating the driver license process. We were able to buy car insurance. Just a lot of different fun progressions that have happened in Spain. Although it feels like we're taking 2 steps back, we've actually taken a lot of steps forward too. And so looking forward to sharing more of our journey. I'm coming back now, I promise, now that we've moved in. It's summer and my boys get my main attention, but you all eat second. And so I'm excited to be back. As always, I'm a Move to Spain coach. And so if you are not sure how to make a way, we didn't either, and we created a way to be able to live in Spain. So contact me over at movetospainmom.com. We can talk more about just how you could either watch a course and move yourself here. You could get a free checklist over there just to see what the process would be to move, or we can hop on a one-on-one call and walk through what it could look like for your family. So ciao, hasta luego, and we'll talk very soon from the Costa del Sol. Shared with the Instagram community a bit. Hi Nacho, hola, ¿qué tal? Tío. A little bit about what our rental looks like here, but it's a precious casita that we've actually really enjoyed calling home for this season. So I'm not by any means complaining because it's a very beautiful accommodation that we're in here, but it's just the area that we've decided long-term will not be a fit. We have 2 bedrooms upstairs, we have an upstairs balcony, we have a trasteros downstairs. It really is so beautiful, but it's the area that matters so much. So be sure to consider where you're spending time driving or needing to navigate to, because it makes a huge difference.